Now, the ultimate destination was a bit far. The search was still on. Again contacted the recruiters, approached many people on LinkedIn, met them for coffee meetings, and spending time in networking again.
Hi Dweep, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining. Before we start off, if you can please quickly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sagar, for having me here. Hello to all the viewers. My name is Dweep Mehta. I am an Indian chartered accountant and a Canadian CPA. I have a Bachelor of Commerce as well as a Bachelor of Law degree. I completed my BCom in 2008, completed my Indian CA in 2011, finished my LLB in 2012, and finally the CPA in 2016. I started my career with GM Kapadi and Company Chartered Accountants in 2008 and worked there for almost 6 years. Then I joined Grant Thornton in 2014 and worked there for almost less than a year because I received my PR, and then I moved to Canada in September 2015.
All right, Dweep, let's start with our first question, which is when we move to a new country, we always have high hopes and a figment of imagination about certain things. But when we actually arrive and start this new chapter of our life, the reality is not exactly the same as what we think, of. And in your case, you came as a PR, had a really established career. You were a CA, and again, we were really in a good position. So my question is, what were some of the reality checks for you when you arrived here that you faced, or how were things different from what you thought before moving?
Sure. Maybe I can just share my journey, from like already mentioned how I moved from India to Canada, and then maybe how I started my life here. And probably that would answer the question, I guess. So let me start. So, just like other immigrants, I came to Canada with some dreams, and one of them was to become successful and establish myself in this new country. Me and my wife Radhika, we stayed at my uncle's place for almost 2 months. We learned the basics from them and like what to do in a new country, how to settle down. So we had a relatively smooth start compared to people who migrate on their own and who do not have anyone living here, friends or family, and they're compelled to pay a lot for initial accommodation. So we definitely saved on the rent initially. Uh, I was introduced to someone at the Toronto chapter of ICAI, and I joined the chapter in October 2015. This is when I realized that referrals and networking, they're really important in
Right.
this country. And so this is one of the cultures of Canada, I would say. So once we moved out from my uncle's place, we rented a condo. It was a bit of a struggle back then, as I think it's still the same because the landlords, they look for tenants who have jobs and who have a good credit history. So after a long search, we were fortunate enough to find a landlord who was quite okay with us not having a job, and like credit history hadn't started as such because just 2 months in the country. So, but we did had have our family, sign as guarantors, but luckily that didn't arise, that situation for them to pay rent on our behalf. So back then, when we moved, we were still looking for jobs. We visited the offices of recruitment agencies. Of course, back then there was no COVID, so we were fortunate to meet people. We submitted our resumes to them, attended a lot of networking events, job fairs. So at these job fairs, there are these professional resume reviewers. So we got our resumes reviewed from them, prepared like more than 50 resumes in a week or so, like applying for so many jobs because each job has to have a customized resume. Then visiting the company's websites and job portals, but no luck for another 2 months. But fortunately, one fine day, got an interview call from PwC, and after 2 rounds of interviews, I managed to get a contract job. So my first job was basically within 4 months of landing, and coincidentally, even my wife got a contract job at CIBC. So we did start our career together in January 2016. So one piece of advice I would give here is patience is definitely the key to success. Like this proverb, we only read in school and wherever, but this actually applies here.
Mhm.
So so soon, like we understood that in order to succeed, we had to get some professional designations. So I had to take up CPA. So I was the first one who started studying, and my wife continued with her job. So I decided that as soon as my contract ends, I'll not take another job and just focus on CPA. All credit goes to my wife because of her I could concentrate on studying while she worked and manage the finances. So parallelly, I was also quite active at the Toronto chapter of ICI, attending events, meeting fellow members, guest speakers, and then slowly building my professional network. I also realized the importance of LinkedIn and the need to be socially active on this professional platform. So I connected with many professionals, seeking guidance on how to go about with the job search and what is required for someone new to get a good job. And I was specifically looking for internal audit jobs, and I was trying to reach out only to the internal audit professionals, who work in different industries. I would say professional relationships go a long way. I I say this because I was able to get another contract job because of my good relations at the chapter, and I started my job immediately after my CPA exams. Uh, I had taken a big risk of not working for almost 6 months and just focusing on the exam, but I was fortunate. It paid off. The results came, and I passed the CPA in the first attempt. So uh, that was a joyous moment for us. And again another piece of advice at this stage, I would say, networking is really important.
Mhm.
uh, it is a two-way give and take relationship.
Right.
It not only benefits others, but it also benefits you. uh, then like the contract job was going on, and once that got over, I was looking for a permanent job now. So but it was still a struggle. But before that, I an idea struck me, because they say that in order to keep your income ongoing, just the job, the salary doesn't pay off. You need to have alternate sources of income. So I thought, why not start coaching Indian CAs who are CPA students. So I approached two of my friends, and they were really okay to team up, and then we commenced a new venture there. So we started coaching CPA students for 2 years, and it was definitely a good uh, experience, teaching someone, which, like, at least I hadn't done that before. But it also was a secondary source of income. So that was a good thing. I shared my experiences with the students, and telling them that not to make the same mistakes that I made. So now going back to my permanent job search, like I said, it was almost 2 months after the exam, and I was still searching for a job, which was quite surprising. Uh, I I was advised to learn to be patient, and this city was testing my patience.
Mhm.
So I came across another contract job through a recruiter, and I just took it up to show some Canadian experience on my resume. Uh, but I was fortunate enough to have all my contract jobs in the audit field, because that's my forte, and
Mhm.
I never wanted to divert from auditing. So another piece of advice at this stage: never diverge away from your field and focus on applying for jobs in your field only. Now, the ultimate destination was a bit far. The search was still on. I again contacted the recruiters, approached many people on LinkedIn, met them for coffee meetings, and spending time in networking again. And fortunate enough, I got a call from a recruiter saying that had an interview scheduled at an organization. Went for the interview, all prepared, and like after the rounds, I felt pretty confident that they might just call me to give me some good news. Uh, well, that did pay off, and like after the second round of interview, the recruiter called me and he's like, "Congratulations, you got the job," and we were really happy. And so finally, I landed a permanent job after three contract jobs. uh, One more thing I would add here is, they say one requires at least 1,000 days to settle in a new country, and it had been only 750 days. It's like an approximate for me. And we feel that we are settled once we have a permanent job, we own a car, we own a house, and I feel the same to some extent. So my next goal was to get a car, and like after almost 2 months into the new job, I felt the need to get a car, and then finally we got one. So one thing which I would again say is that never try to show off to others. Stay within your budget. Like in this country, the budget can go way over, and it might be just out of control. So, like I won't mention what car I bought, but it was not a big luxurious car for sure. So now, like after the car, there was still 250 days for me to reach my next goal, which was the house. So the job was going great. I participated in the company's events and built good relations with everyone there. And in the meantime, the creator showered his blessings upon us with a little bundle of joy, and a little shining star proved to be a lucky charm. My hard work paid off. I was promoted within 6 months of joining. I had proved myself, which actually motivated me to work harder for the next goal. Now, again, back then, this was like late 2017. The real estate market was on the rise, not as it was earlier this year, but it was still a bit high, and it was challenging to find a job, within our budget. Oh, I'm sorry, not a job, the house.
We already found a job, so
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, and we were quite determined to not leave the area in which we were actually renting the place. So we were trying to search a place in the same area. Like it had become a routine to come back from work and then go to see one or two houses every day, and that too in cold winter in the snow with a kid. So it was kind of tough, but I think that's part of life. You can't help it. And the worst part was that the houses we liked, we decided to put an offer, but they would just be gone quickly, like sold, because the market was such that it wasn't difficult to get a house. But again, same way, or after a lot of struggle, there was fortunate enough to get another place, where we put the offer, but luckily it was not sold. And then like on March 29, 2018, like that's the date when we became proud owners of a house in Canada. So yeah, like again, very happy moment for us, and I thank God for being with us through the ups and downs. Thank my parents for their blessings and support, my wife for being the pillar of my life, and most importantly, I thank my little bundle of joy for being a blessing in disguise. They say a baby brings a stroke of luck, and my little star sure did. His name is Nivan, by the way. Yeah, so along with that, life moved on. I continued, working with the chapter. Also played cricket for the chapter's team, as well as I played baseball for my company's team. Now, this is one sport which I had never imagined I would play in my life. So I would definitely say that, Canada is a land of opportunities. So, yeah. So, and then like in the chapter in 2018, the elections were coming up, and the existing board members, they encouraged me to, come on the board and, contest for the elections. So at first I was hesitant. A number of thoughts crept up in my mind, like, will I be able to manage the job, my family, the chapter? Will I be able to balance and do justice to all three? I wasn't sure if I had the leadership qualities to run an organization. Uh, I discussed with my wife because I really wanted her to support me, and she agreed. So I put forth my name for the elections, and I got elected on the board. So in June 2018, I came on the board as the vice chair. Uh, then I served as a vice chair for the first year. I became the chair for the second year, and the third year I continued as a director. So this gave me an opportunity to meet and connect with established and successful professionals and industrialists, businessmen, politicians, and most importantly, I got the opportunity to speak in front of an audience of almost 400 people. Now, back in India, I was kind of a shy person. I didn't have much public speaking qualities, but the work I did at the chapter, and the opportunities which I got there, I feel really confident speaking in front of public now. So I really don't need to prepare myself for that. So that's a really positive thing, I would say, which came out from the chapter. Next, there was this important chapter in my life where I had really good relations with some people from CPA Ontario, and they asked me to if I can be a mentor to CPA students. So I did take that as a opportunity, and they invited me to be a keynote speaker at some of their events. uh, my suggestion is to continue networking as much as you can, even after being successful in life. You don't know when a person who you met probably a few months or years back would be helpful in future. And it's really not that hard to maintain contact with people. Just a simple text or a message on LinkedIn like, hey, how's it going, how are you doing, that goes a long way. Now, next was like we became eligible for Canadian citizenship, and you know that was something what we actually came here for. So that was a smooth sailing, I would say. There were no hiccups or interruptions in this. Uh, Fortunately, we got our citizenship in February 2020, just before the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we were fortunate enough to, have the oath ceremony in person. Like these days, it's all online. So we had a good experience there. uh, at present, I am working towards my CIA, the Certified Internal Auditor. Now, here I would say that each professional has to keep themselves updated. Pursue relevant certifications or enroll into courses in your specific field, and just keep upgrading your profile. So that you can make yourself more marketable. And so I'm expecting to get my CIA done this year, hopefully. So let's see how that goes. And I think one last thing, maybe this is something which I personally faced, is never compare yourself with others, because I did that in the past. It felt extremely dreadful. Like sometimes I felt like a loser. Like, what am I doing? Where do I stand? When I compare myself to some people who who came to Canada after me. They got promotions earlier than me. They probably got a car and a house earlier than me. But then I realized, it's like, this is my story. That is their story.
Right.
And everybody is destined to succeed in life, but it's just at different times. So, just be patient, keep working hard. Perseverance never fails. And I think I'm doing pretty good, even though I'm not in that position which I would want to be, but I think I'll get there soon. when my time is there. Yeah.
Great, 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 Dweep. Thank you so much for sharing all that. There's so much information to unwrap. There's so many good things, great advices down the pipe, and some of which are, for example, to be very patient, right? When we come here, we assume that it's going to be, everything's going to be good and in short span of time, but you have to have patience, right? Considering the amount of competition and considering that you've been entering in a total new world, right? It's a new country. There are going to be new rules, and there might not be people that you know, and you might not have any friends, and it takes time to build up relationships, that you said, which is again a great point, that networking plays a very big part, not just in getting a job, but even to get other side of the story as well. And yeah, thank you so much, Dweep, for joining. It was such a pleasure having you. Thank you so much again for sharing your story. I'm pretty sure a lot of people viewing this, watching this video will be benefited, and they can relate, and they can learn from your experience. And I will have your link, and they can connect you with on LinkedIn. And if they need any guidance.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack.